All right, guys. So when I measured my angles, I found that angle A was 140 degrees, angle B was 40 degrees, angle C was also 140 degrees, and angle D was 40 degrees. So the first question you answered were, what were the pairs of congruent angles? So in mine, angles A and C were congruent, and also angles B and D were congruent. And you guys should have found that as well. So this is a rule, guys. Anytime you have intersecting lines, the two angles opposite each other are going to be congruent. And those opposite angles, we call those vertical angles. So two angles that are opposite each other, formed by intersecting lines, are called vertical angles. And they are always congruent, meaning they will always have the same angle measure. So the next question was, what is angle A plus angle B? So that would be 140 degrees plus 40 degrees. And we get 180 degrees. And then what's angle B plus angle C? Well, that's going to be 40 degrees plus 140 degrees. And that also gets us 180 degrees. So that's another rule I really want you guys to remember. If you have two angles formed along a straight line, the sum of those two angles will always be 180 degrees. So B plus C would be 180, C plus D would be 180 degrees, and D plus A would be 180 degrees. And we call these adjacent angles, two angles that are next to each other. The word adjacent means next to. Two angles that are next to each other that have the same vertex and share a common side are called adjacent angles. So angles A and B are adjacent angles, B and C are adjacent angles, C and D are adjacent angles, and D and A are adjacent angles. So the nice thing about knowing some of these rules, guys, is let's say I give you a figure like this, and I've shown that we have a 55-degree angle here. Once you know that one angle, you can calculate all the other angles without measuring anything. So for example, we know that vertical angles are congruent, so that means this has to be 55 degrees. Then we know that two angles formed along a straight line have a sum of 180 degrees. So I can just do 180 minus 55 to get this angle, and that gets me 125 degrees. And then since this is opposite this, that means this angle also has to be 125 degrees.